we are very pleased to welcome you, and we will start this scientific week by a general presentation of the graduate school Manutech-SLEIGHT. Let's go. So I will briefly introduce this graduate school, and you will have a few minutes at the end to ask us some questions if you want. And please do not hesitate. So what does it mean, Manutech-SLEIGHT? SLEIGHT is the acronym of Surface, Light, Engineering, Health and Society, and it deals with the interaction of light with surfaces, both from the fundamental and application points of view, in order to address different fields such as biology, health, but also energy, sensor, or safety traceability. The interest in using light and lasers in order to modify or probe surface is that it is contactless, it can address all types of materials, it allows high flexibility and high control damage, as well as automation and productivity enhancement. And also light can induce and authorize in situ control, and that will be a main interest as well. So when using light, lasers, and specifically pulse lasers, but not only, to modify surfaces, we can address different things, such as biomimetic, and you will have a very nice talk just after mine from Emmanuel Stratakis in Greece. We can also modify in a very controlled manner the surfaces in order to probe, for instance, to address, for instance, the interaction of surfaces with cells for the biology point of view. And we can also modify surfaces that are not metals or ceramics, but that are biological tissues, as reported here for an eye. We can also, with light, probe surfaces in order to make some in situ control. And by the way, we can address different fields, a lot of fields, by coupling imaging as well as data sciences. As you can see here, this graduate school belong on very multidisciplinarity fields such as photonics, lasers, surface engineering, biomedical imaging, and data sciences. The major ambitions of Manutech-SLEIGHT Graduate School is to implement the first French graduate school on light surfaces engineering by strengthening the scientific attractiveness and the international impact, by developing research projects at the highest level of international excellence, and by also setting up new courses or modules in close connections with the research activities. And one goal is also to broaden towards innovation and knowledge transfer activities. So we have got a funding for that for 10 years, and it started 2 years ago for implementing all those actions. This graduate school is developed in strong connection between 8 research laboratories. So you have here all the names, and I will not detail. Laboratories working in optics, photonics, imaging, data sciences, biology, health, mechanics, tribology, and so on. This project, this graduate school, is also developed in a public-private partnership in strong connection and cooperation with one excellence laboratory, which is called Labex Manutech-SLEIGHT, and 2 equipment of excellence, Manutech USD and the Equipex IVTV. And you can see, and in connection with three international industrial partners, you can see also here that the graduate school rely on core fields competencies such as surfaces, optic, lasers, photonics, imaging, data sciences, bioengineering, and that the goal will be to develop and reinforce pluridisciplinarity. Manutech-SLEIGHT is a graduate school. That means that there are some trainings and you are a lot of students attending this graduate session, this graduate week. In Manutech-SLEIGHT, there are 10 master tracks involved in the domain of optics, image, vision, multimedia, data sciences, bioengineering, as well as health. The main fact maybe is that during the last year there have been 4 new tracks of master as Erasmus Mundus tracks. 3 have started in last September, and one will be launched at the new in the forthcoming September. This graduate school involves also engineering school and research tracks of 2 engineering schools. One is located here in Saint-Étienne. This is Institut d'Optique Graduate School from Palaiseau, close to Paris. And the second graduate school is the second engineering school, is in Lyon, where research curricula are involved. And the graduate school, Manutech-SLEIGHT, involves also 2 doctoral schools. The names are reported here. In order to manage this project, I have reported here the governance of the project. You can see that there is an educational board which is chaired by Pierre Chavel, and a scientific board which is chaired by Karine Mazeleli-Varlot from INSA Lyon. And the project is managed also by Saint-Étienne, which is the project manager, with Aurélie Bonpotel as an assistant. And this project is not governed and managed only by few persons, few people, because the coordinators of the masters and master's tracks and engineering school, as well as doctoral schools, are involved on the educational part, whereas scientific leaders of the scientific axis and LabEx as well as Equipex are also involved on the scientific side. On the scientific side, what are the scientific objectives? As I mentioned, the graduate school deals with engineering of light with surfaces. When photons, light, arrive on a surface, it can modify the material, and this is the first scientific axis that we are working on in order to predict, test, and define new processes and new functionalization of surfaces by light. By engineering and controlling the effects of the surface modifications, then we are able to induce new effects and new modifications on those surfaces, and this is the goal of the scientific axis number 3. And finally, light can be also used to probe the surface in order not only to probe, but to extract relevant data from surface imaging, and this is the scientific axis number 2 in order to extract full information and meaning from surface imaging. I will give you a few details on some scientific objectives. What happens since 2 years? We have funded 17 research projects in collaboration between different laboratories. We have supported also international actions, such as 2 international mobilities, including 1 year in Ottawa, as well as we have supported the organization of 4 international conferences on the site of Saint-Étienne, Lyon. And we have also implemented funding for innovation and development in order to allow researchers and engineers to access to the industrial platform Manutech-SLEIGHT. We also developed the possibility to hire a pre-maturation engineer, and we are developing ongoing and future project actions with socio-economic local actors. On what happens also since 2 years, there has been a strong development of the training offer in line with the scientific domains. So with 4 new Erasmus Mundus joint master degree. We have also proposed scholarships for the attractiveness and educational facilities. So 6 scholarships have been proposed since 2 years, and we colleagues are developing a new training platform on imaging and extended reality. We are also working on the development of new interdisciplinary modules on health optics for master students. And as Saint-Étienne has told to most of you, we have proposed, and that will be the first call, that will be the first year for that, a Manutech-SLEIGHT certificate in order to enable students to take advantage of the opportunities available in the graduate school. Since 2 years, we have also proposed and organized 3 graduate interdisciplinary sessions, one in January 2019, one in July 19, and the last one in last January. Unfortunately, the session scheduled in July 2020 has been cancelled and postponed. So as you can see, in January, we are proposing graduate interdisciplinary sessions on all the topics of SLEIGHT, whereas in July, the first session was on material appearance and co-organized with Groupement de Recherche of CNRS. So in order to go further, what about the funded research projects? So we have funded different types of projects, short projects corresponding to the funding of master students training on the different scientific axes that I have already presented you. On the scientific axis dealing with light matter interaction, we have funded a first project on femtopinning, dealing with femtosecond laser and mechanics behavior of materials. We have funded also, short projects on bone imaging, machine learning, deep learning, as well as a project at the interface between surface functionalization and data mining. And we have funded several projects on the possible applications of surface engineering, both on thermomechanical properties, for instance, by surface structuring, on magnetic material, by selective laser sintering, by laser texturing of dental implants, for instance, as well as microstructuring for surface sensor using plasmonic. All master students working on these short projects have pursued a PhD, and some of these short projects led to longer projects. Concerning longer projects, we have funded several projects, some ongoing projects with postdoc support. You just have here the acronym of the project as well as the dates. I will detail each project right now. We have funded project with PhD support for 3 years, and there is also 2 projects that will start soon. So concerning the funded research project, on the scientific axis 1, dealing with the prediction and the experimentation of surface modifications, we have funded a project on the formation of dense structures on the nanoscale by using ultra-short laser pulses, and you will be able to see all details and all results on the session D1 in the scientific workshop of this axis on Thursday. We have also funded a project on the use of ultra-short laser pulse in order to address nanoscale surface morphology, not only on the micron scale, but on the nanometric scale. And you will be able to listen to the talk of the PhD student on Thursday morning. We have funded also a project that has not really started because the PhD is to be recruited on the follow-up of the morphology of the molten bath in laser metal melting, and the coordinator of this project, Christophe Deraillot, will present the objectives on Thursday as well. Concerning the ambition of relevant data extraction from surface imaging, we have funded a project on the diffusion of nanoparticles on surfaces, and the postdoc that is currently finishing will present his work and all results on the session of Thursday afternoon. We have funded also a project on the quantitative identification of physical characteristics of solid interface during tribological contact, and the PhD working on this project, Alice Desbouchot, will present our work on Thursday afternoon. And finally, on this axis, scientific axis, there will be a new project which will start in the forthcoming week. This project deals with the use of machine learning for high-definition bone digital twin, and you will have details in the forthcoming scientific session. On the more or less engineering and application side, so on the scientific axis 3, one project has been funded for the use of surface plasmonic for characterization of passive thin films, and the PhD working on this project, Julie Dutems, will present our work on a Friday morning session. One project deals also with biological applications in order to use laser engineering and ultrafast laser engineering for high anterior segment treatment. This project is developed by a postdoc, Abderrazek Talbi, that will present the work developed in collaboration with a different lab on Friday morning as well. Another project, deals also with biological issues. That way, for multifunctional texturing by femtosecond laser of dental implant, in order to promote osseointegration and avoiding bacterial contamination. This project has started with a PhD, Steve Papa, that will present his work on Friday morning session also. This project is also correlated and complementary to another big project, which is a project funded by the European Union, which is a European Innovation Council funding, laser implants for 2 years, which is also developed by different labs of Université Monnet in cooperation with Manutech-SLEIGHT, and which is led by CEDAW. In order to develop new projects, we are pleased to announce that there will be a new call for a research project. The first call of proposals will be announced soon. We will support 3 postdocs, 2 PhD, and also master short projects. And we also launch a new call for PhD certification, which is a new financial support for a project where only the thesis is funded. So please, to all of you, remember we are proposing a lot of funding opportunities, scientific projects, attractiveness scholarships, ingoing and outgoing mobilities for researchers, doctoral students, but also master students. We propose also to support access to the equipment of Manutech-SLEIGHT, to support the acquisition of scientific and/or educational equipment, as we support also the participation to the organization of international conferences and recruitment of pre-maturation engineers. So do not hesitate to contact us. So for 2021, we will announce soon this proposal. Remember also that we will have in Saint-Étienne and Lyon 3 international conferences. You have the name here: Radiation and Effect on Components and Systems, World Tribologic Congress in Lyon, and Metallic Nano Objects in Saint-Étienne. And now I'm pleased to let the floor to Pierre Chavel for presenting the Graduate Interdisciplinary Session number 5.
Thank you, Florence, and let me join Florence Garrelie in welcoming all of you to this Graduate Interdisciplinary Session. As was just explained by Florence Garrelie, our core mission is to foster skills and competencies in our scientific fields and involve graduate students, both master and doctoral students, closer to the research environment. In particular, we wish to strengthen the link between master's education and research. We hope to foster interactions and discussion during these interdisciplinary week. It's a little bit more difficult when we are working remotely, but we will do our best, and we are very happy to see that so many of you are joining us. So during this edition, late in 2021, we will have everything in the form of a webinar. We have a busy program, and 257 people have joined already. So next please, yes. Next slide, please. So, next slide. Next. Something? Okay. We have a steering committee and a program committee. So as you can see, many people have been involved in preparing this week. And with this, I would like to thank all of them, but there is something happening. Okay, next slide, please. To thank all of them for their involvement in the preparation of this week. We have 12-hour courses by 9 keynote lecturers. I'm going to say a few words about them just now. 3 half-day workshop on the 3 scientific axes of Manutech-SLEIGHT, 1 presentation by a former student and alumna, which is today, this afternoon, 1 pitch session by master students, 1 session by doctoral students, and 1 session by postdoctoral students. Please remember that Friday at noon, we will have a short online award ceremony to recognize the best presentation by the master students in the pitch sessions and by the doctoral session, students in the PhD session and by the postdoctoral fellows in the postdoc session. So please all plan to attend the award ceremony on Friday at noon, at 12 noon. Next slide, please. I would now like to strongly thank all the 9 keynote lecturers, really world-class lecturers who accepted to contribute and make presentations during this week. Very briefly, because they will be introduced separately at the beginning of their lectures. Professor Stratakis from Greece, who will be the next speaker just after this session. Professor Giou from Université de Strasbourg. Professor Altug from EPFL Lausanne. Next, please. Professor Doé Erali de l'Université libre de Bruxelles. Professor Giessen from University of Stuttgart. Professor Bono from Université de Marseille and CNRS, Institut Fresnel. Next. Professor Armani from USC, Los Angeles. Professor Jensen, also from California. He's from University of California, San Diego. And Professor Babae from the Max Planck Institute for Informatics in Germany. So many thanks to all of them. Next, please. Okay, I guess, Florence, you will conclude now. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Pierre. So just to conclude, I would like to ask Karine Mazanelli-Varlo, which is chair of the scientific committee, as well as Saint-Étienne, to switch on the camera. Just to conclude, in order to follow us, you have many options. You can visit our website. You can follow us on Twitter, or on LinkedIn, as well as on YouTube, where for which Saint-Étienne is doing a large work and for developing this session. So just to conclude, welcome to all of you, and now enjoy this week. And we have a few minutes for questions, so please do not hesitate. So there is one question on the chat. Do you propose some internships for master students? Yes. So there is internship in the different labs, in the 8 labs. So you can visit the Manutech-SLEIGHT website to have the link with the different labs. And we have also funding by Manutech-SLEIGHT directly for internship. So one will start soon, and we will fund also new ones for, if I remember well, for master student internship. So yes, the answer is yes. Is there any questions? Any more questions? If not, we will make a short break, 13 minutes. Oh, there is another. No, it's a comment. If you need a certification for attending the courses, do we have to send to the professor in charge of the course?
Yes. Yes, the professor in charge of the lecture. Well, I'm not sure if I understand the question, but if your master or doctoral school requires a signature by us, I guess you just send an email to Saint-Étienne and she will make sure that you get the signature, if that was the question.
Please use the address here.
Yes. But Manutech-SLEIGHT at Université Saint-Étienne.fr.
Yes.
Okay, so I see that was the question. So fine.
So we have, is there any more question? Do not hesitate. So we can have a 10 minutes break, and then we will start with the first lecturer, Emmanuel Stratakis, from 4th in Crete. Thank you to all for attending again.